Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's continue with our prayers to open the doors of our heart. Anybody would like to sing prayer today? Bhaja Govindam Stotram verses 21 to 34. Let me also share the screen. Okay. Anybody would like to sing? If not, then I'll continue and then we can read the translations. Okay, let me continue. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakradapyena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Charcha Punarapi Jananam Punarapi Maranam Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayanam Iha Samsare Bahudostare Kripaya Pare Pahi Murare Ratyacharpata Virachita Kantha Punya Punya Vivarajita Pantha Yogi Yogani Yojita Chetto Ramate Balon Matava Deva Kastvam Koham Kutayatah Kame Janani Kome Tatah Iti Paribhavaya Sarvamasaram Vishwam Tyaktva Swapna Vicharam Tvai Mai Chanya Traiko Vishnu Vyartham Kopyasi Maya Sahishnu Bhava Samachittah Sarvatra Tvam Vanchasya Chiradyadi Vishnutvam Shatrau Mitre Putre Bandhau Ma Kuru Yatnam Vigraha Sandhau Sarvasminnapi Pashyatmanam Sarvatrotsrija Bheda Jnanam Kamam Krodham Lobham Moham Tyaktvatmanam Bhavaya Koham Atma Jnana Vihina Mudha Te Pachyante Naraka Niguda Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Deyam Shri Patirupamajasram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam Sukhatah Kriyate Rama Bhogah Paschadhanta Sharire Rogah Yadyapi Loke Maranam Sharanam Tadapani Munchati Papa Charanam Arthamanartham Bhavaya Nityam Nasti Tatah Sukhaleshah Satyam Putradapi Dhana Bhajam Bhitihi Sarvatraisha Vihiyaritihi Pranayamam Pratyaharam Nitya Nitya Viveka Vicharam Japya Samita Samadhi Vidhanam Kurvavadhanam Mahadavadhanam Guru Charanam Bhuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsaradachirad Bhava Mukta सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवम् मूढः कश्चन वैयाकरणो दुःकृन्करणाध्ययनधुरीणः श्रीमच्छङ्कर भगवच्छिष्यै बोधित आशिचोदितकरणः भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते नामस्मरण धन्यमुपायं नहि पश्यामो भवतरणे भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन् निहिते काले नहि रक्षति दुःकृन्करणे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गोविंदम स्तोत्रम की जय। श्रीपाद आदि शंकराचार्य की जय। जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, we can read the translations. Anybody would like to read today? 21 to 34. Yes, Shri Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Let a man read but a little from the Bhagavad Gita, drink just a drop of water from the Ganga, worship Murari Krishna just once. He then will have no altercation with Yama, the Lord of Death. Born again, death again, birth again, to stay in the mother's womb. It is indeed hard to cross this boundless ocean of samsara. O Murari, redeem me through thy mercy. There is no shortage of clothing for a monk, so long as there are rags cast off the road. Freed from vice and virtue, onward he wanders. One who lives in communion with God enjoys bliss, pure and uncontaminated, like a child, and as someone intoxicated. Who are you? Who am I? From where do I come? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Ponder thus, look at everything as essenceless, and give up the world as an idle dream. In me, in you, and in everything, none but the same Vishnu dwells. Your anger and impatience is meaningless. If you wish to attain the quality of Vishnu soon, have samabhava always. Do not waste your efforts to win the love of or to fight against friend and foe, children and relatives. See yourself in everyone and give up all feelings of duality completely. Give up lust, anger, infatuation, and greed. Ponder over your real nature. Fools are they who are blind to the self. Cast into hell, they suffer there endlessly. Regularly recite from the Bhagavad Gita, meditate on Vishnu in your heart, and chant his thousand glories. Take delight to be with the noble and the holy. Distribute your wealth in charity to the poor and the needy. He who yields to lust for pleasure leaves his body a prey to disease. Though death brings an end to everything, man does not give up the sinful path. Wealth is not welfare, truly there is no joy in it. Reflect thus at all times. A rich man fears even his own son. This is the way of wealth everywhere. Regulate the pranas, life airs within. Remain unaffected by external influences and discriminate between the real and the fleeting. Chant the holy name of God and silence the turbulent mind. Perform these with care, with extreme care. O devotee, O devotee of the lotus feet of the Guru, may thou be soon free from samsara. Through disciplined senses and controlled mind, thou shalt come to experience the indwelling Lord of your heart. Thus was a silly grammarian lost in rules, cleansed of his narrow vision, and shown the light by Sankara apostles. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, O fool. Other than chanting the Lord's names, There is no other way to cross the life's ocean. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shri Mataji. Yes. So, very simple instructions by Sripad Adi Shankaracharya to a complicated grammarian who's lost in the rules of grammar. Right, on the banks of Ganga in Varanasi. Varanasi is known by multiple names, right? Kashi, Banaras, Varanasi. But similarly, people of this world who want to complicate things too much, they get lost in coming up with their own interpretations of the words of Lord. So our acharyas, when we follow their instructions, they simplify because they have seen the truth, they have realized the truth. So we have to follow their instructions. And here he's saying, yeah, how difficult it is, right? Birth after birth, womb after womb, we are suffering, taking birth multiple times in this material world. And then whenever a child comes out, we see every child is crying, right? Have you ever seen a child coming out of the womb, happy, smiling? No, not even a single one. Doesn't matter if it's a rich man's child or poor man's child, born in an affluent country or not, whatever the color, caste, creed, everybody comes crying out of the womb. But once we come out as a child, then we get lost in this world again. But while we are in the womb, we pray to the Lord that, oh, please, take me back, call me back to your home, oh Lord. But then again, when we come out, we forget. So, but some people have that sukriti that they have carried, like what we chant now, these holy names, that is our sukriti that we carry forward. That is the bank balance, the spiritual bank balance that we carry forward. So, transitioning back to Prabhupada Leela, yesterday we saw Prabhupada very nicely conducted the Jagannath Rath Yatra festival in LA, and then the 6 disciples of Srila Prabhupada along with the little Saraswati. So they have been in London and they have been struggling, but they have been determined to follow the instructions of their Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and we see how Prabhupada is encouraging them. And finally they were able to meet with George Harrison, the famous singer from the Beatles in London. And he says, I have been waiting. Where have you been? For 2 years. So that's Krishna's arrangement. And we see how he had that sukriti from his previous lives, because not everybody, even in Beatles, he was very, very much inclined. And we could see from his contributions that he has done, he has recorded the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and because of that, it became so popular in London and all over the world. But we see how he was inclined towards spirituality and naturally inclined, right? And he had that because he had that spiritual bank balance from his previous life that he was carrying forward. And today, this ISKCON temple in London is something that has been given by him, Bhaktivedanta Mener. So anyway, so let's continue from here. So they had recorded a song yesterday. All the Matajis were put tilak on all the technicians in the recording studio. They had prayed to their spiritual master and to the Guru Parampara. And finally, Prabhupada is about to set to come to London now in early September. So let's see what happens next. Anybody would like to read from here? Gurudas met a real estate agent. Okay, I will continue then. Nobody. All right. Gurudas met a real estate agent with a building on Bury Place near the British Museum. The devotees could move in immediately, an ideal location, £41 a week, and immediate occupancy. It was wonderful. Mukunda wrote Prabhupada asking him for money for the down payment. Prabhupada agreed. Shyamsundar got a letter from George on Apple Corporation Limited, stationery, stating that Apple would guarantee payments if the devotees defaulted. Within a week, the devotees had a 5-story building in central London. But when the devotees went to live at their new center on Bury Place, city officials said they did not have the proper housing permits. The red tape could take weeks, even months. Again, the devotees were without a place to live and worship together. Shyamsundara, however, on faith that everything would work out, began constructing a temple room of California redwood in the building. John Lennon then suggested to Shyamsundara that the devotees come and live with him at Tittenhurst, a large estate he had recently purchased near Ascot. He needed some renovation done, and if the devotees would help, he would give them a place to live. Can our Guru also stay there? Shamsundar asked. John agreed, and the devotees moved into the former servants' quarters at John's estates. Only a few weeks before Prabhupada's arrival, the record Hare Krishna Mantra was released. Apple Records staged a promotion and brought press reporters and photographers in a multicolored bus to a blue and white pavilion where the devotees had gathered with George. The first day, the record sold 70,000 copies. Within a few weeks, the devotees appeared on the popular TV show Top of the Pops singing their song. John Lennon's estate, formerly owned by the Cadbury family, consisted of 76 acres of lawn and forest, with a large manor and many smaller buildings. John and his wife, Yoko, lived in the manor. The servants' quarters, where Prabhupada and the devotees were to live, were 4 separate apartments in a single narrow building near the manor. About 15 devotees moved in, reserving one apartment for Prabhupada and his servant. John wanted the devotees to tear out the hardwood walls and floors in the main house and replace them with new walls and black and white marble tile floors. While this renovation was beginning, Ishana, who had recently arrived from Canada, began with a few helpers to convert the old music recital hall into a temple, complete with Vyasasan for Srila Prabhupada. The devotees worked day and night on Prabhupada's quarters, the temple room, and Prabhupada's Vyasasan. With such energy did they work that John and Yoko could see that the devotees were obviously in love with their spiritual master. When the devotees were making a tape to send to Prabhupada in Germany, Ishana asked John if he had anything he wanted to say to their guru. John smiled and said he would like to know Prabhupada's secret that made his followers so devoted. The stage was set. The time had come for the principal character to enter. Lord Krishna's pure devotee was at last coming to England. For the 6 devotees who had pioneered Krishna consciousness in London, it had been a long struggle, but now it seemed that all their once impossible dreams were coming true. They had found a place for Prabhupada to live in, and they had obtained a temple in the center of London. This was Krishna's blessing. Hare Krishna. So let's move on to chapter 30. From unlimited opportunity, limited time to London, a dream fulfilled. Chapter 30. Okay, London, September 11, 1969. With the cooperation of Apple Records and Lufthansa German Airlines, the devotees arranged a reception for Prabhupada at London's Heathrow Airport. As soon as Prabhupada descended the stairs of the airplane, he was escorted to a car and driven to a VIP lounge, bypassing the formalities of immigration and customs. As Prabhupada stepped from the car, the devotees ran out of the terminal and offered obeisances on the wet pavement, while Srila Prabhupada looked down on them, smiling. The devotees rose, brushing wet macadam from their dhotis and saris, and joyfully surrounded Prabhupada as he entered the lounge. Inside the terminal, Prabhupada confronted a mass of reporters and cameramen and several dozen friends of the devotees, and a clean cloth covered one of the lounge sofas, and vases with yellow gladioluses sat on either side. Prabhupada walked over to the sofa and sat down, and Shamsundara garlanded him with red and white carnations. Prabhupada began leading Kirtana. The devotees were oblivious to all but Prabhupada, and the reporters resigned themselves to simply standing and observing while the devotees sang and danced ecstatically. The eager devotees were unabashed during the Kirtana, and their shouts of Hari Bol and Jai Prabhupada, as well as blasts from a conch shell, punctuated the regular chanting of Hare Krishna. After the Kirtana, the reporters remained at a distance as Prabhupada spoke affectionately to almost each devotee seated before him. "Where is Janaki?" he asked. "Oh yes, how are you?" "Vibhavati, how is your daughter?" "Actually, you are all my fathers and mothers. You are taking such care." For the devotees, only they and Prabhupada were present in the lounge, and they strained to catch everything he did or said. They couldn't have cared less about any outsider's reaction. Finally, Mukunda invited the reporters to come forward. "If any of you gentlemen have any questions, you can ask them of Prabhupada." The reporters moving in. "What do you think of this reception?" Prabhupada: "I'm not very much fond of reception. I want to know how people give reception to this movement. That is my concern." Devotees in unison: "Hari Bol." Reporter: "Is this a very special welcome for you, or is this a performance you go through each day?" Prabhupada: "No, wherever I go, I have got my disciples. In Western countries, I have got now about 20 centers, especially in America. So the American boys are very, very enthusiastic. I think in Los Angeles and San Francisco, I got a very great reception. In the Rath Yatra festival, about 10,000 boys and girls followed me for 7 miles. Devotees, Hari Bol, Sun reporter. What do you try to teach, sir? Prabhupada, I am trying to teach what you have forgotten. Devotees laughing. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Sun reporter, which is what? Prabhupada, that is God. Some of you are saying there is no God. Some of you are saying God is dead. And some of you are saying God is impersonal or void. These are all nonsense. I want to teach all the nonsense people that there is God. That is my mission. Any nonsense can come to me. I shall prove that there is God. That is my Krishna consciousness movement. It is a challenge to the atheistic people. This is God. As we are sitting here face to face, you can see God face to face if you are sincere and if you are serious. That is possible. Unfortunately, you are trying to forget God. Therefore, you are embracing so many miseries of life. So I am simply preaching that you become Krishna conscious and be happy. Don't be swayed by these nonsense waves of Maya or illusion. When a reporter asked if the singing was essential to the sustenance of your faith, Prabhupada answered at length, describing the cleansing effect of chanting Hare Krishna. He quoted Srimad Bhagavatam's declaration that anyone without God consciousness has no good qualities. Test any of our students, Prabhupada said, how they are good, how they are advanced. Test it. Bring anyone in the world and compare with any of our boys. You will find how much difference there is in their character and their feeling and their consciousness. If you want a peaceful society, then you must make people God conscious, Krishna conscious. Everything will be automatically resolved. Otherwise, your so-called United Nations will not help. The reporters asked about Billy Graham, the moon landing, the war in Ireland, and the whereabouts of Prabhupada's wife and children. They asked him to turn his head toward them, and they clicked away with their cameras. They thanked him, and the reception dispersed. Prabhupada went from the building to the gleaming white Rolls Royce awaiting him outside, courtesy of John Lennon. Prabhupada entered the back seat and sat cross-legged. The limousine was equipped with darkened windows and a lavish interior, including a television. The devotees had become so confused in their excitement that none of them had thought to join Prabhupada, and the chauffeur whisked him away to Tittenhurst. Prabhupada sat silently, except for his occasionally audible chanting, as the chauffeur headed through the winding roads leading away from the airport. He was in England. His father, Gaur Mohan, had never wanted him to come to England. Once, an uncle had told Gaur Mohan that his son should go to England to become a barrister, but Gaur Mohan had said no. If his son went there, the meat-eaters, drinkers, and sex-mongers might influence him. But now, 70 years later, Prabhupada had indeed come to London, not to be influenced by the Englishmen, but to influence them. He had come to teach them what they had forgotten. And he was off to a good start, under Krishna's special care. When he had to live alone in New York City without any money, that had been Krishna's mercy. And now he was entering England in a chauffeured limousine, also Krishna's mercy. Accepting the ride as part of Krishna's plan, Prabhupada remained deeply fixed in his purpose of carrying out the order of his spiritual master, whatever circumstances awaited. As they turned onto Route 4, proceeding towards Slough, Prabhupada saw factories and warehouses, and then the flat countryside with orchards, fields, and grazing horses. The grey, chilly weather hinted of winter ahead. After about 20 minutes, Prabhupada reached the wealthy neighborhood of Ascot, and soon, appearing on the left, the high redwood fence surrounding the Lennon estate. Prabhupada had arrived before his disciples, but those who had remained at the manor excitedly received him and showed him to his room on the second floor of the servants' quarters. The small room was chilly and damp, with a low table for a desk and wall-to-wall carpeting made from pieces of rug taken from the other rooms. The adjoining room was bare and even smaller. Prabhupada sat down at his low desk. "Where is everyone?" he asked. As he leaned back and gazed out the window, he saw rain just beginning to fall. When George, John, and Yoko dropped by after Prabhupada's lunch, Shamsundar invited them to come up and meet Prabhupada. George turned to John and asked, "Do you want to go up?" The bearded, bespectacled master of Tittenhurst, hair down to his shoulders, assented. Yoko also was curious, so up they all went to Prabhupada's little room. Smiling graciously from behind his desk, Prabhupada asked his guests to enter and be seated. Here were two of the most famous people in England, and Krishna wanted him to speak to them. Prabhupada removed his garland and handed it to Shamsundara, indicating that he should put it around George's neck. Thank you, said George. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada smiled. This is Krishna's blessing. Hare Krishna, George replied again. Yes, Prabhupada said. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tat evetaro janah. Sa yat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. The idea is that anything which is accepted by the leading persons, ordinary persons follow them. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha. Shreshtaha means leading persons. Acharati means act. Whatever leading persons act, people in general follow them. If the leading person says it is nice, then it is all right. The others also accept it. So, by the grace of God, Krishna, you are leaders. Thousands of young men follow you. They like you. So, if you give them something actually nice, the face of world will change. Although George and John were about the same age as most of Prabhupada's disciples, Prabhupada considered them shreshthas, respected leaders. You are also anxious to bring some peace in the world. Prabhupada continued. I have read sometimes your statement. You are anxious also. Everyone is. Every saintly person should be anxious to bring in peace in the world. But we must know the process. He explained the peace formula according to Bhagavad Gita. Only those who recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the proprietor of everything, the object of all sacrifices, and the friend of everyone can find peace. Prabhupada then told the two Beatles even more directly what he had already hinted at. They should learn Krishna consciousness and help teach it to the world. I request you to at least understand this philosophy to your best knowledge, he said. If you think it is nice, pick it up. You are also willing to give something to the world. So try this. You have read our books, this Bhagavad Gita as it is. John, I've read bits of Bhagavad Gita. I don't know which version it was. There's so many different translations. Prabhupada. There are different translations. Therefore, I have given this edition, Bhagavad Gita as it is. Prabhupada explained that the material world is a place of misery. Nature is cruel. In America, President Kennedy was thought to be the most fortunate, happy man honored throughout the world. But within a second, Prabhupada loudly snapped his fingers. He was finished. Temporary. Now, what is his position? Where is he? If life is eternal, if the living entity is eternal, where he has gone, what he is doing? Is he happy or is he distressed? He is born in America or China? Nobody can say, but it is a fact that as a living entity, he is eternal, he is existing. Prabhupada explained the transmigration of the soul. Then again he requested, try to understand it, and if it is nice, you take it up. You are after something very nice. Is my proposal unreasonable? The two Beatles glanced at one another but didn't answer. Prabhupada gave a soft, amused laugh. You are all intelligent boys. Try to understand it. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll pause here. Yes, so Prabhupada's, and we see the contrast, how Krishna's mercy flows. And for a pure devotee, it doesn't matter, every situation is Krishna's mercy. Right? They see the hand of God in every situation. So, like it was mentioned, whether it was a lone arrival in Boston and New York where nobody was there to welcome Srila Prabhupada, to this situation within a matter of 4 years. Now he's 69, he's in London, and now he's being driven in chauffeur-driven limousine. But yeah, that is again for a pure devotee. Everything is samabhava, like we were reading in the prayers. Right? So they see the Lord's mercy. There's no dualities of life, no happiness, distress, gain or loss or anything. It's all Lord's mercy. Whatever Krishna does is for our good. That is the bhava. Yeah, I was reminded one Acharya was saying that once they were going something similar, where because everybody in India, especially in Vrindavan, they like to help sannyasis and acharyas. Right? They consider that as a seva. So somebody was like driving one of the Guru Maharajas in Vrindavan in a very nice car. Then they said, okay, now drop me here, because the acharyas didn't want people to think that, see, he's become so prideful and being carried in luxurious cars to the dham. So they got off, and then they started walking towards the dham, the place that they were visiting. And then but it was still far away. It was like about a couple of miles. So then they got into, they were waiting at a bus, walking, and then at a bus stop there was a bus. So the bus was about to go, and they got into the bus, and then the bus conductor, actually they didn't get into the bus, but the conductor said, "अरे स्वामी जी आइए, अंदर आइए, आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं?" तो बस उधर ही जा रही है, हम आपको ड्रॉप कर देंगे ऐसे करके. So he got into the bus, but then they went forward. The conductor somehow, I think he left the bus, and then when the driver came in, the driver literally started asking everybody the tickets, and then started shouting at the Swami that where is your ticket? अरे अरे टिकट नहीं है तो उतरो, नीचे उतरो. ये क्या है, बस वो चढ़ जाते हो बस के अंदर, right? You just get in without a ticket. No, you cannot travel. And because he had told the conductor, I don't have any money, so but conductor had said, no, still Swami ji, आप अंदर आइए, we will drop you. But then he left, and then this driver comes in, and then he starts shouting in front of everybody, literally 40-50 people in the bus, and then he shouts at the Swamiji, and then he had to get down. So the moral of the story, this Acharya was saying that, this is Krishna's mercy. Just 20 minutes before, I was in a luxurious car, and I was thinking, why am I in this situation now? And after 20 minutes, I'm being publicly humiliated in front of. So again, and he started walking towards the dham. They were meditating and reflecting, and then they got the answer. This is Radharani's mercy. Radharani and Krishna are saying that we should not be puffed up, or we should not take that to our heart. That we have the name, fame, everybody's recognizing us now, and here within 20 minutes again we are being humiliated in public, right? So it doesn't matter whether it is public praise or public humiliation, everything is equal, and we should not take anything to heart. So that was kind of the moral of the story. So I was reminded of same thing that Prabhupada is talking here. But yeah, wonderful reading. Any other thoughts, reflections from today's reading?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was this important point was brought up today in today's reading, that if an influential person takes up to Krishna consciousness, somebody very important in society or as well recognized, he or she takes up to Krishna consciousness, the general public will follow. So Prabhupada was telling that to both the Beatles. So kind of very important point that as it's a human nature to follow somebody who is very influential or powerful in the society. So I don't know, I was just thinking if we can do something similar for our congregation, it's hard, but then automatically it has happened many times that automatically people will follow whatever somebody strong is doing. That was my reflection. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's why we see after Prabhupada, from this example, we see how he influenced, the top-notch, Prabhupada reached out to classes and masses, right? So he was the Jagat Guru. He could talk to the class, like the top class echelons of the society, and also to the masses, like we saw in the Rath Yatra, 10,000 people came. So, but he inspired that, and we see many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples now, how even here the American disciples, we see recently, like Radhanath Maharaj had met Obama when he was a president, and of course Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in India, how much he did, and all the influential leaders of India now, like back then Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and now Modi ji, and everybody have been very favorable. They have been invited to all the openings of the temples, because when we have leaders of the society, again, that is the following of, that is the instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada is just literally following that principle to the core, right? Trying to inspire the leaders of the society so that we can have United Nations. So yeah, we all should also try, if we have any connections, we should try to bring leaders of the society into some of the programs like we usually do, like Columbus Temple when they had the Rath Yatra, they had some politicians and they had the Bhumi Puja. So like that, we should try to, because even if they see chanting and dancing, like Prabhupada says, just chant, dance, have prasadam, that will start transforming their heart. And if the leaders say, are inspired and say good things, then the people will automatically follow. So yeah. So again, this whole thing is coming from parampara, from Krishna down to our acharyas, from Prabhupada to his disciples, and now to the next generation. And yes, we should, again, that's why we say, we're not, Prabhupada is not saying you have to leave everything and go to jungle, right? We continue good education for ourselves, for our children. We want our children to grow up and become good members of the society, even influential members of the society, right? So that when they become influential members of society, we want devotees to be there in those top positions, so that just like in the older yugas, the Maharajas like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, those were Dharmarakshak, right? They were called Dharmaraj because they were protectors of Dharma. So you want such people to be the leaders of the society. So yeah, we should cultivate our kids, and who knows, in the future if they become good leaders of society, then people will follow. Thank you for sharing that thought, Hari Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? All right, if not, then we'll wrap up here. Thank you to Devika Mataji. Are you local to Cincinnati? I see you've been joining a few days.
Yes, sir. We have just moved to Cincinnati very recently.
Have you come to our center?
Yes, I came once.
Okay. Yeah, please join us every Saturday program from 5 to 8:30. We have Kirtan, spiritual discourse from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and wonderful prasadam, like Prabhupada says. So thank you for joining us every morning and giving us your association.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I know that, once you get to the Krishna consciousness, it's easier to see everybody as the same. But how do you maintain, like, for people like me in an everyday life, even with the chant and jap, when you are focusing on something and somebody disturbs you or, distracts you, I get short or upset. And how do you in an everyday situation, how do you maintain that evenness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is where this association helps. I mean, that's why we say A, B, C, D. A for association, that is the most important. Recently, we had Kratu Maharaj at the center. He was talking about the most important limb of bhakti, sadhu sangha, right? So, just like in material world also, right? Like when we are at work or whatever profession we are in, we always see people around us, and there may be good qualities. There are good qualities in every one of us, right? In each one of us. So we take inspiration. And when we associate with somebody, then we kind of not naturally start getting those qualities of that, of that good person. So similarly in spiritual life, when we associate with saintly people, when we have so many senior Vaishnavas and Maharajas coming to our center almost every month now in summer, so we should take association. That is the most important thing. And then, like Prabhupada says, chanting, it's a simple process, yet it is a gradual process, right? But if we keep chanting, because we have had so many conditioning in this material life, so we all have tendencies to react hastily, right, versus responding in a calm and composed manner. So again, all those good qualities automatically awaken because they're already there within us. As a spirit soul, we are pure and we are full of good qualities, Vaishnava qualities, but we are covered in this world just like we are covered with this body. So the process Prabhupada says is chanting. So chanting the holy names, as we keep chanting and hearing, our heart gets cleansed. That is the process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. So by that process and by associating with people, with saints who have those qualities in them, when we associate with them, when we hear from them, then we also get those qualities. So that is a very simple process. These two things we should do. So yeah, the more you associate, the more you chant and hear attentively, you will start seeing transformation, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you again for your association this morning, and we'll end with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.